Africa is at this huge technological inflection point right now. It's a moment where smart technology, and we're talking specifically about artificial intelligence, really holds the power to fundamentally reshape the continent's future. Okay, let's dive into this.
But here's the thing. This isn't just another story about adopting tech that was built somewhere else. No, this is a story about active innovation. It's about shaping the future on the continent's own terms. This is about that big shift from being just a consumer of technology to becoming a creator.
And to really wrap your head around the sheer scale of what's at stake, just look at this number. $15.7 trillion. That's what AI is estimated to contribute to the global economy by 2030. It is a massive wave of transformation, and honestly, Africa is perfectly positioned to ride it.
So that brings us right to the heart of this whole explainer. How can the continent actually harness all of this incredible power? Well, the answer isn't some single, simple strategy. It's more like a mosaic of unique, local innovations that are really tailored to African needs.
This right here draws a really fascinating parallel. Think back to the mobile money revolution, right? Services like M-Pesa completely bypassed the old-school banking infrastructure, and in the process, created a world-leading fintech ecosystem. That same kind of leapfrogging potential? It exists right now with AI.
And this isn't just some theory. The forecasted AI market in Africa is expected to hit over $16 billion by 2030. That kind of growth, that means new businesses, new jobs, and brand new solutions to challenges that have been around for a long time.
Okay, so let's zoom in from that big picture to what's actually happening on the ground. This is where AI stops being this abstract idea and starts making a real, tangible difference in people's everyday lives.
And a perfect place to start is agriculture. It's the backbone of so many African economies. This isn't science fiction either. We're talking about AI-powered tools that are already boosting productivity for smallholder farmers all across the continent.
And here's how it actually works in practice. We're talking predictive analytics for managing crops, drones that are monitoring crop health, and real-time market data sent straight to a farmer's phone. A fantastic example is FarmerLine in Ghana. Its AI tool, called Darley, supports over 110,000 farmers in 27 different languages. That's inclusivity in action. Now, let's see how that same innovative spirit is playing out in another really critical area, finance. There are still over 400 million people in sub-Saharan Africa who are financially unserved. Well, AI is proving to be the key to finally unlocking services for them. So how's it work? Well, instead of relying on traditional credit histories, which a lot of people just don't have, AI models can analyze alternative data, like mobile phone usage, to figure out creditworthiness. Companies like Tala in Kenya and Jumo in Ghana are using this to give microloans to millions, all while boosting security with real-time fraud detection. It's a game changer.
And the impact doesn't even stop there. In healthcare, you have companies like Babylon using AI for remote diagnostics in Rwanda. In education, platforms like Rising Academies are rolling out personalized AI tutors like Rory on WhatsApp to help students build up their core math skills.
But to get to that full potential, we've got to be realistic about the pretty significant hurdles that are still in the way. This journey is definitely not without its challenges, so let's get into a bit of a reality check.
First, the good news hiding inside the challenge. Demand for cloud computing services, the engine that powers AI, it's absolutely surging in Africa. It's growing at an incredible 25 to 30% every year, which is way faster than Europe and North America. So the appetite is definitely there.
But here is the stark contrast. Despite that huge demand, Africa currently holds less than 1% of the world's data center capacity. This infrastructure gap, it's one of the single biggest bottlenecks to scaling up AI development. So this really breaks down the core challenges. Beyond those infrastructure gaps we just mentioned, you've got data fragmentation, complex regulations, the incredible diversity of over 1,000 languages, and a persistent talent gap. Each one of these needs to be tackled.
And on that point about the talent gap, this quote from Dr. Uyi Stewart is so important. The issue isn't a lack of smart, capable people. The talent is absolutely there. The real challenge is creating enough pathways and opportunities for them to develop and apply their skills, right there on the continent.
So when you're facing all these hurdles, how do you build a responsible future? Well, African nations aren't just sitting around waiting for others to set the rules. They're proactively building their own governance and ethical frameworks.
This table kind of puts the African approach in a global context. So, while the EU is taking a very strict, risk-based legal approach and UNESCO is focused on principles, the developing African Union framework has this unique and frankly crucial emphasis: capacity building. It's all about empowering nations to build AI that fits their own context.
And we can already see leaders emerging from the pack. This chart highlights some of the top performers on the Government AI Readiness Index. You have nations like Mauritius, South Africa, and Rwanda really leading the way, creating the kinds of policies and environments that are ready for an AI-driven future.
And if we break that readiness down a little bit, we see different strengths. Rwanda is a leader in the government pillar, showing a strong vision and a focus on ethics. South Africa leads in the technology pillar with its mature innovation capacity. And Egypt is really excelling in data and infrastructure.
So, what does this all mean for the path ahead? Well, it's about putting all these pieces together, the innovation, the challenges, and the governance to make that absolutely crucial shift for being a consumer of AI to a creator of it.
This quote from Dr. Olabumi Ajala in Nigeria just perfectly sums up the practical priorities. It's about developing AI that understands local languages, it's about digitizing historical data so you can train better models, and it's about relentlessly focusing on talent development. These are the real building blocks.
And this really brings us full circle, back to our central message. This whole journey is one of active leadership. Africa isn't just plugging into a global system, it is building, it is innovating, and it is shaping its own unique digital destiny.
And so, we'll end with this powerful and pretty provocative question. The potential is undeniable, right? The innovation is happening. But to realize this future at scale, that's going to require commitment. The ultimate question is, who will step up to make the long-term investments that are needed to make sure this AI revolution is equitable for everyone?